Welcome to iCarly, huh? Okay, now synthetic division. Think of it as upside down division, okay? So when we do synthetic division, first step is draw an upside down division line. So when you draw, have you seen this before?
No.
Okay, so when you do synthetic division, when you draw the upside down division sign, then I know, you're doing this kind of division, okay? Now, second thing we're going to do is this. We're going to divide, but we're not going to put the x's in there at all. We're going to leave the x's out. They're going to be invisible, but we have to put them in order. So we're going to put a 3, a 4, a -2, and a 4. Now the x's are just invisible. We don't really need the x's. We just need to remember that they're there, but we don't need them at all, okay? Now, the next thing to do is we're going to divide by, write this down please. Please write this down by the opposite. So I'm going to divide by -2, okay? And when we divide by the opposite, Claire, you'll love this. When we divide by the opposite, we're actually adding a negative, so we don't subtract at all in synthetic division because we just made this a negative, or the opposite. So in a sense, we're going to add, because we're going to add the negative, which is subtracting, isn't it? So when we do this whole synthetic division, we're going to add. We're not going to subtract at all. We're not going to subtract because by we changing this sign right here, we are adding a negative, which is subtraction. But let's add. Okay, now the next thing we do is draw a line down like this. Okay, and this is going to be my, what I call my add line. Okay, this is my add line. And I'm going to put a little box down on the bottom below the last term. Put a little box down here. This is my remainder. Okay. So, okay, thank you. So this is my remainder. So I put a little box right here, and it's right below the very last term, and whatever pops into here is my remainder, okay? So here's how it works, okay? Step 1, I need to write this down. Step 1, you need to bring the first term all the way down. So I'm going to put down my 3, okay? So my first step, step 1 is to bring first term down, okay? Okay, step 1, slide it all the way down, okay? And then, and I'm going to use pencil so I can erase. Then I'm going to multiply. So we're going to multiply. 3 times -2 is -6, okay? So I'm going to multiply. 3 times -2 is -6, right? And then this is my add line. Remember, this is my add line. So I'm going to add 4 plus a -6 is a -2, right? And now I'm going to multiply. Okay? I'm going to multiply. So I'm going to get a +4. It goes right there. This is my add line, so -4. -2 plus 4 is a 2. And then I'm going to do what? Then I'm going to multiply. And I get a -4. This is my add line, right? So that makes it 0. So I know the remainder is 0, which tells me that this goes in evenly. So x plus 2 is a factor. If I got anything but 0, it would not be a factor, okay? So it is a factor. But the answer, now remember, we took out the x's. The x's are invisible, but the answer has to be some answer with x's in it, right? I did invisibly divide by x, so that the answer is going to be 1 less power. Okay, so the answer is 1 less x power. Okay, I had an x cubed, so my answer has to be a 3x squared minus 2x plus 2, remainder 0. Okay, wait a minute. Hold on. Hey, that's exactly what I got with all this work here, isn't it? Okay, let's do it again. So Let's do example 2, but let's do it again so we can practice one more time. Okay, so right off the bat, in example 2, what's the first thing we should do? Okay, let's make the upside down division, okay? Upside down division. Okay, first step, upside down division, okay? Second step, let's put the numbers in, okay? Let's put the numbers in. 3, 4, -2, 4, okay? Okay, we're going to do it again, right? Okay, what goes right here? Positive 2. Positive 2 in this case, right? Because we take the opposite. So we take a positive 2 because it's got to be the opposite. Natalie, am I doing okay? So we need to do a second time, right? Because you've never done this before. You're going, what is he doing? We're doing synthetic division. Let's practice again, okay? So draw in your add line. I like to call that my add line, and put in your remainder box, okay? Draw in your add line. I call it my add line. My add line, okay? And put you in your remainder box. And now, 36. So now the very first step, no matter what, very first step is bring down, all the way down, bring down the first term. Okay, so I'm going to bring down my 3, right? And then what?
You do
Multiply. And we get a 6, right? And we add, because it's my add line, I get a 10, right? And then what do I do next? Multiply. I get a 20, right? And then add, and then you get a, and then you add, and you get 40. Now my answer, right? My answer's got to be 3x squared. 3x squared, because it's going to be 1 less power. So my answer is going to be 3x squared plus 10x plus 18. But what do we do with the 40? We do with the 40 is the same thing we did here. We take our remainder and we put it as a fraction over what we divided by. Okay? 18 over the x minus 2. Yeah, you're ahead. Okay, so we take this number and put it over what we divided by. So what we originally divided by was, and I'm going to highlight it, what we originally divided by was with x's, right? And the problem is really about division with x's, so our answer is going to be plus 40 over x minus 2. Katie.
Oh, never mind.
Bailey, get it?
Yes.
Okay, and that's a pretty simple way to divide because it's a lot better. Hey, cool. It's a lot better than that stuff, right? Hey, that must be track stuff.
Ooh, really?
Maybe. Go ahead and sit right there. Okay, you guys agree?
I think
That's the long division. This is the way that technically it can be done, but the synthetic division is so much easier, right? You guys agree? Now, let's look at example 3. Example 3, it says P of 2. P of 2. So what does P of 2 mean? What does P of 2 mean? It's a question. P of 2 is a question.
X equals 2.
So let's plug in 2 for all the x's, right? 3 times 2 cubed plus 4 times 2 squared minus 2 times 2 plus 4. And I'm just going to use a calculator, right? I mean, this is like way too much work for me, so let's see what we get here. So, on, clear. So 3. Can you guys see my calculator? You can't. Let's see if I can get this light so it works better. Oh, there you go. Now you can see it. So if I go 3 times 2 cubed plus 4 times 2 squared minus 2 times 2 plus 4, I get an answer of, I get 40. I get 40, okay? Now here's something important. I got 40, okay? Okay, I want to see 2 numbers, okay? All right? Now, this is called, what we just did, synthetic substitutions. Let's write that. We just did synthetic substitution.
We can't see it.
Okay. We just did synthetic substitution because when we plugged in 2 which is the answer to this, x, if I had x minus 2, I will always get the remainder. Synthetic substitution. So if I start with x minus 2 over here, and I said equals 0, and I said, okay, well, x equals 2, synthetic substitution gives you the remainder. The reason the remainder is so important is this. If it's 0, it's a factor. If it's not, it's not. So here's an easy question. If somebody just say, are you listening? If somebody said, is x minus 2 a factor? You could divide it out and find out what the remainder is. That would work. Or you can say, wait a minute, I'll just plug in 2, and if I get an answer of 0, I can say yes. If I get an answer of anything else, I'm going to say no. Say it one more time, okay? Why is synthetic substitution so easy? Because if I said, is this a factor? Factor means the answer is 0, right? Remainder is 0. If I plugged in 2 and got a remainder of 0, so if I were to plug in negative 2, guess what I'd get for a remainder? I would. You can give it a try if you want to. If you plugged in negative 2 right here, you would get an answer of 0. So synthetic substitution will tell you the remainder. The only reason that's a big deal is it tells you, if you get a remainder of 0, that this thing is a factor. It goes in evenly, okay? It is a factor, okay? So x minus 2 is a factor. X plus 2 is a factor. It's a factor because we got a remainder of 0. And then, Bailey, you're checking to see if the negative 2 will give me an answer of 0, and it should. And it did. Isn't that cool? Okay, turn the page. Okay. Now, example 4. Please listen. The quiz that you're going to have on Friday will have a question like this, and I don't want anybody to miss it. You see, before we do anything, I want you to watch. Just watch. h of x is equal to x cubed plus 0x squared plus 3x minus 12. Why did I put the 0 in there? Where did the 0 come from? It's got to be 0. Because if it's 1, it would be an x squared. A 0 would make it disappear, and there isn't one up here, is there? So is there an x squared term? No. So when you do division, you kind of need to keep a place value, because even in this, you ready? Let me change this real quickly to a 0, right? And you bring down the 0, right? You would divide, but you'd have to have the 0 as a place value. Does that make sense? Same thing with this, you have to have the 0 squared. This question, one like it, is on your next quiz. You don't forget the 0. Don't forget the 0. So once you remember the 0, it's just synthetic division, right? It says don't forget the missing term. There it is. We didn't. 1, 0, 3, negative 12. Please don't forget this on Friday, because I want to see everybody, because synthetic division is easy. You guys agree? Okay, she'll be there in just a second, okay? Upside down, right? What am I going to put right here? What are we going to put right here?
3.
Positive 3. Positive 3. Totally right. Because we do the opposite. So I have positive 3, right? Put my little remainder box down here, right? Slide down the first term, right? And multiply, right? This is my add line. 0 plus 3 is 3, and we multiply. We get a 9, right? That plus that is a 12. That's my add box. Renee is way ahead of me. 36. And we get 24. So right at the bat, I know this is not a factor. It's not a factor because the remainder's not 0. Remainder 0 factor goes in evenly. Does that make sense? Remainder 0 goes in evenly, okay? Any other number, it's not a factor. So our answer, though, is going to be a 1x squared plus a 3x plus 12 plus 24 over x minus 3. 2 thumbs up. It's pretty easy, isn't it? Okay? It's a lot easier than doing it like that. You guys agree? Yeah. Okay, Tammy, I got a note for you.